Yo guys, today we're going to be challenging the hardest AI in F1 2025 in a realistic performance kick Sauber to try and go from last place to P1 here in the Hungarian GP. Of course, celebrating the real life GP happening this very weekend. It's going to be an important one, qualifying around the Monaco without the walls as it's sometimes dubbed is going to be very important. But also that turn 1 was insane. How did we go from P20 to P10 in one braking zone? Of course, the hardest AI on the game, 110%, and we're also on the hard compound tyres right now to try and see if we can make up the positions on the worse compound. Then we have the better compound mediums later in the race available to us when we need the more critical positions, hopefully. Will the race win? Dirty air is going to be the most difficult factor, and we're having to really send it in on lap 1. But yeah, dirty air around this track is very, very difficult indeed. F1 2025 really known, I think, to be honest, for the dirty air coming off the car ahead, and also a relative lack of slipstream. I don't really know if I would call that realistic or not, because as we saw in Spa, people could be really close and have no opportunity to overtake. So I don't know, I'm not an expert on aerodynamics, so I'm probably not the person to judge. But either way, what I do know is it just makes it very difficult to get moves done and dusted in the F1 2025 video game. P20 to P8 here on the first lap. You can see up the load there's a Red Bull running away into the distance. I think it's fair to assume that's going to be Mr. Max Verstappen, as we're kind of settling into this race. Of course, in a new rig at the moment. If you haven't followed the channel before, this is my second video in a brand new rig. It's a Race Anywhere ESR 1 with a Sparco seat as well. So going away from the Formula style position, mainly just to look after my back a little bit more. Because I've been doing a lot of work with a chiropractor recently, and I just sort of want to do some more stuff to look after my health. And although I love being in the Formula style position, I thought it was so cool, so unique. It just was quite detrimental. So now I've taken some steps to one, go to a GT style seat like I'm doing right now, but also now for the first time ever actually, well, not ever, I did have a desk when I was in Ferrari, but the last few years when I've been living where I've been living currently, I've not had a desk, so I've always been editing videos and doing meetings on my rig. Whereas now I have a desk, as you can see by the desk chair behind me. I'm very happy about that. I built that last night. IKEA was busting. We're gonna have to send a dive bomb on George Russell here because we need the track position. So yeah, I'm actually really happy. I'm really enthusiastic, really excited for what can come soon. Taking steps forward in the content. Not taking a step forwards in that Apex though, that was disastrous. But yeah, whoa, we need to log in, bro. Taking a step forward in the content, investing in the future, and yeah, hopefully it could pay off in the video quality, the video enjoyment, if that even is a metric. For me it is anyway. But as well, I love what I do, to be honest. I really love what I'm doing at the moment with content. So having a situation like this where I can enjoy it even more in a more comfortable way as well, I'm really excited for. So anyway, I've been waffling quite a lot. So that's a little bit of an intro to why my background is a bit different, why I'm in a different rig. And yeah, I will do a video on this rig. I think I'll do it in September, as I got some other stuff to sort out before then. And I need to sort out some cable management, otherwise people will roast me in the video. But yeah, I think it will come in about September, the video, to show and introduce the rig and all the specs I have, as well as I want to fine tune everything and get it completely to a point that I can recommend all the products I have, and really do my best to make a good video, you know? Anyway, the medium tyres are going to start falling away a little bit. Bit of an interesting situation here. We've got Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Well, Lando is actually running P2 at the moment, and I presume that is Max Verstappen up in P1, who I'm going to also hope is on the medium compound tyres. If he's on the hard compound tyres, we've got our work cut out to try and catch him later on. But yeah, their mediums are going to start degrading away quite a bit soon, and I think I'm going to have to do a bit of a George Russell lunge to Mr. Alex Albon as well, who's really performing well, also in the video game. Jesus. P6 in a Williams around Hungary, and that Williams is normally known for low downforce configurations. But now you can see these hard tyres are really coming into fruition. Also, I've got new gloves. Hang on, I'll show them on the straight in a second. Whoa, Albon! Whoa, 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 son. That was impressive. That was an awesome drift. Go on, lads. Anyway, easy overtake down the straights now. That's going to be lovely jubbly. Sound as a pound. Thank you very much, Mr. Alexander Albon. Anyway, yeah, the gloves are blue. I like blue. They're good. The Fuel.gg. I don't have a collaboration with them. I just bought their gloves. They look good. And they feel good so far. So yeah, I'm also really excited to get used to these, as it's my first race on them as well. And yeah, I like the colour blue, so they suit me. Right, closing in to Mr. Oscar Piastri. Then Lewis Hamilton is just up the road from him, who's on the soft compound tyres. Well, I don't know if I'm surprised by it, to be honest, because it is, of course, only a... Oh, that was a bit of a lack of traction there. It is only a 25% race. But yeah, still, those soft tyres must be screaming for grip by now. And it seems like they are, because Piastri's going for the move. Our rear tyres are not really favouring us that well either. So we're going to be moving the brake bias a little bit forward to try and help that. Something to take into mind also for later in the race, when we do go over to the medium compound tyres, because these cards are already struggling on the rear. Of course, like I say, a realistic performance kick Sauber is not that good on its tyres, to be honest. So something that we'll have to remember and also take care with. Something that I'm learning the hard way, also playing two-player career mode with GB68. That the Sauber is not that nice on its tyre deck. So yeah, hopefully they update it in the game soon, so it matches the real life performance. So I think the real life performance is becoming quite good in race pace for the Sauber. But of course in the game I think it's still going by the start of season performance of the car. Right, Lewis Hamilton is just about going to be in the DLS of Oscar Piastri, I think. But really critical we get past Lewis Hamilton into turn 1 here on this lap. Lando Norris has caught what I presume is Max Verstappen in the race lead as well, down the inside of Lewis. Charles is not on the soft compound tyres, also on the medium. So it's quite interesting that Ferrari decided to split the strategy between the two of them. Down to 4th gear, really having to manage that rear deck, by the way. And now just sliding through on the exit. 1.1 seconds, a very critical middle sector coming up for us to try and get back into that DLS of Oscar Piastri. We did close in on Piastri, but it wasn't enough. As you can see at the moment, I'm just doing a few wheel flicks to try and generate a little bit more rear stability. That is Max Verstappen, who's on the soft compound tyres. The reason that the wheel flicking generates a bit of rear stability is it slides the front axle across the road, so it generates a bit more understeer. What, of course, generally probably is not that good. But when the rear is sliding around as much as mine is right now, it can be good to generate a bit of that understeer in the car. That's going to be track limits, but okay, so my first one of the race. So although it's, I think, slower for this lap, it allows me to keep up a decent pace, while also bringing back down that rear sliding and rear temperature. Comparing this to last lap now, you can see that's a lot better through the right-hander, through the 5-speed corner as well. That's a lot better, so yeah. Although a bit of a compromise to need to do the wheel flicking, it did, I think, pay off already for us. Into the left-hander. Go on, have a bit of DLS, that'd be lovely. Yes! Exactly what we needed. Okay, we're back in the hunt. Back in a position that we can start hunting down Piastri. Pit window is open. I don't think we're going to go for it this lap. Although I would love to. I would love those fresh tyres more than anything right now. But I think we need to stick it out. Reduce our total stint length on the medium compound tyres because, yeah, if already our hard tyres are suffering 9 laps into a stint, we need to be thinking a little bit about the long game. We're going for the mediums. The AI should box this lap as well to allow us a clear lap. In theory, okay, actually there's 2 McLarens up ahead of me, so one of them cannot box this lap. If there is a car to box, I hope it's going to be Lando. So that means that we can stay closer to Piastri. Really critical final sector, actually. Because Piastri might break the DLS of Leclerc, and even if he doesn't, we might be close enough to go for it in turn 1 if he doesn't box, but he does box. Okay, Lando Norris has been left out on track then. Big wheel flick. Right, let's see what we can do. Head to head, 3.3 seconds to Mr. Lando Norris up ahead. Apex Lava. Of course, we're going to gain a little bit right now just from having the DLS available to us. You can see already when we push straight away in that dirty air, it starts to overheat those rear tyres again. Bringing down that gap, it seems. Come on, let's get him. Lando was not far away from Max Verstappen as well before Max boxed. So if we catch Lando, more than likely we're in the hunt for the race win. Wonder if Lando will go to the softs. He's gone longer than anyone else. Right, nothing happened, right? Nothing happened. That was all part of the plan. I need that pen from like Men in Black, you know what I mean? Where they like erase people's memories. But Lando is going over to the hard compound tyres, which is good news for us actually. So I thought he was going to go to the softs. We do get the optimal turn in. Good pit stop is required, team. Okay, it was a little bit slow, probably about 2.8, even though it said 2.5. When we landed, there was a delay just getting going again. But we have actually jumped Charles Leclerc somehow. Right, we need to make hay while the sun shines on these tyres now. We haven't got that long until they're going to start to fade away. And Max Verstappen has quite a big advantage up the road. Probably about 3 and a bit seconds. Lando's only 1.8 seconds ahead of us as well. So we gained probably about a second in the pit lane. So maybe he got held by a car coming down the fast lane. Right, here we go then. In the DLS of Oscar Piastri starting lap 12, purple final sector. Oscar and Lando are fighting out in turn 1. We tried going late on the brakes to see if we could make an opportunity, but we just completely locked up the front right and destroyed any opportunity to get them into turn 2. But they're fighting through the apex here. One of them is surely going to lift on the exit. Right. Okay, Lando lifted, but due to my previous mistake, not close enough to really make anything of that battle. But can we go down the inside of the AI? Oh, that's a bit of a squeeze. Really, to be honest, relied on a very compliant Lando there. If Lando was not compliant, we would have been in the swimming pool on the outside of that track. Yep, there is a swimming pool. It's not really talked about in modern Formula 1, to be honest, but back in the day, back in like the 2013 days, that was all the rage, that was, about talking about the water park on the outside of the track. But doesn't really get mentioned anymore, which is a bit of a shame. I'd love to know why they stopped mentioning it. Maybe they mentioned it so much, and they want it to be their hidden little gem. Anyway, 2.3 seconds to Max Verstappen. Final corner of the lap, half a second to Oscar Piastri down the pit straight. This might be our opportunity, fastest lap of the race. Big braking zone in turn 1. Easy to get the car stopped on these fresher tyres. And now just focus on the exit. Right, we've got clean air. Max is on the mediums. That is brilliant news for us. Because he boxed so much earlier than us. So Max has gone soft medium in this race. That is very aggressive, but that is beautiful news for us. Because his medium should, unless I destroy them over pushing, well, I don't plan to, his medium should be never better than ours. So we should have an advantage over Max Verstappen until the very end of this race. And if we can put a car between us and the McLarens of Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, then we're going to be in a very, very powerful position. Right, this should be fastest lap of the race. Can we maybe get in the DLS? Oh, yes, we can. Final corner. A second up on our Delta. A 17.6 fastest lap of the race. I want to get past Max Verstappen in the first sector here. I don't really want to spend a lap behind him. Again, just with that theory of trying to make the gap to the McLarens as big as possible. No gap really arising there. But a strong exit. And battery enabled up the hill. Come on, let's see if we can do anything in turn 4. Not quite close enough though. Max is slow, but we're not going to be able to get up the inside there. Just too far away. I don't think we're going to have a proper opportunity until the start-finish line again. That's a bit of a shame. I wouldn't mind the middle sector send. But you can see the dirty air. Even though we was catching well over a second per lap, we're just not really able to get closer than 4 attempts right now. And Oscar is starting to close in on us as well. So quite critical that the overtake is done on this lap. And then possibly start breaking away back into the race lead. Or back into, was never there to start with. Rear tyres are fading and the dirty air. Big snaps of oversteer. 4 attempts away at the start of the straight. We're going to have to send it in turn 1. We're going to have to do a Max Verstappen to Max Verstappen. He defends it, but not enough. Thank you very much, Sunshine. I'll see you next year, buddy. Right, we need to lock in during this middle sector. Oscar is almost in the DLS of Max Verstappen. I expect him to be in the DLS of Max Verstappen by the end of the lap, to be honest. Maybe we're not going to be able to break the DLS of Max as easy as I first thought. Need to calm down on the rear sliding. So the tyres are already dramatically overheated. It's going to take about a lap of not sliding the rear to bring him back down into a usable range. Okay, 6 attempts away, but the AI, as you know, in this game, are rocket ships in a straight line. Look at that, Max is coming back at us. Around the outside, we're not going to give that up that easy. Nice exit there, we should be safe. Norris has also dispatched of Piastri. Right, let's cook it up. Let's see what we can do. AI will probably get close to me here. But I just want to save the battery. Max isn't going to go for it just on the inside there. This could go down to the wide, you know. The grid is in a salver sandwich. I'm P1. Portoletto is P20. Almost a full... He is literally a full middle sector behind us. If you look at the mini-map on the top right-hand side of the screen. How long is the middle sector here? Like 30 seconds? Jesus. Okay, we're bringing those rear tyres back into a more usable range right now. That's good for us. But again, Max is going to be all over the back of us into turn 1. He goes to the outside line. For a second then, I thought he was going to go for the inside. Right, he's close enough. Okay, we've got a good exit though. Yeah, this unless we pull out a middle sector of the dreams and Max makes a mistake, I think this would be a last lap showdown. Ferrari really dropped away on the pace and performance as well. Multiple seconds behind, almost touched the grass there. Had to straighten up the wheel just to avoid it. Down 2 gears. All about rear tyre smoothness now in the middle sector. Max all over the back of us. We're going to try and just make sure that we have some good rear tyres on the car. Not overheating, not oversliding. For the final apex of the lap. Opening up the pit straight on the final tour of the circuit. Of course, right now, penultimate lap of the race. Looking for a strong exit there. We did kind of get it. And we did get a good exit here as well. The rear of the car sliding around. Half a second behind as Max onto the pit straight. Trying to break the slipstream. But look at him coming like a rocket. Really side by side into turn 1. Late on the brakes. Have to make sure we get stopped on the apex here. Because he's going to be close again. Draining a bit more battery. Not close enough to make a move of it in turn 2. Have to get to turn 4, and then we can start managing our tyres again. Just make sure we don't slip up, make an error. It'll be very easy to do around Hungary on these tyres right now. There we go, that was nicely there. Down 2 gears. Just throw it over the inside curbing. Down to 4th. Oh my god, yeah, you can see we dropped the car down to 4th in the middle of the corner, and the rears were not having any of it. But you have to be a bit careful through here, because this is going to be sketchy on the final sector of the lap now. Oh my word. Just have to bring it home, not make a mistake. Easier said than done. Back on the traction. One more corner to go. Oh my god, the rear does not want to comply. And we should have it just about over the line to Max Verstappen. Lovely jubbly indeed. So there we go, P20 to P1, just about by 1/10 of a second. The top 4 separated by only 9/10 as well. Let's take a cheeky look to see where our teammate was, because he was a long way behind, 36 seconds, and he didn't start P19. In fact, Esteban started P19 and finished P17 on the road. So yeah, very successful race that is. Maybe Sauber could do this in the real race. I'm not too sure. Let's see. But either way, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. And yeah, have a fantastic weekend. Hopefully you enjoyed the Hungarian GP. Hopefully it's a clacker, and hopefully it'll be a banger as well. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Grazie, ciao, ciao, bye bye.